Because I know it'd be a little crazy going the right there. James?
Mike Loxley said earlier this week that thought he lost a lot from last year due to money discrepancies from the players. How do you guys avoid that as the rules evolve?
Yeah, I think you avoid it, first of all, by the players you recruit and the players you bring into your program and their beliefs and their thought processes. And I feel like we've done a really good job of separating the financial pieces and all those goals versus, what they came to Michigan about. Our theme has been team over me. And in the world we live in today with NIL and revenue sharing and transfer portal and recruiting and all these different things that social media that can, separate a team, we've done a really good job of bringing in the right people to make sure that we still have a team mentality, even with all these things and all these various things that can happen. And college football is just different now, right? You got to adjust. We always talk about adapt or die. So for us, we've done a really good job. It starts with our coaches, how they evaluate and the type of people they've gotten to know and they bring in our recruiting staff, and doing a really good job bringing those type of people in. And our team is as close as it's ever been. They're really close right now, and to watch them grow and how they've grown through the summer has been fun to be a part of. So just ready to kick off fall camp here next week.
On the right, Aaron?
Sherrone, do you think the fact that Bryce took basically half the snaps in spring helped advance his development?
Yeah, I think you only get better at playing it by playing football. So I think it's definitely helped him and helped his progression. But before anybody asks, it's an open competition. So he is not the starter right now. There is no starter. We'll figure out who that is in camp. And we'll do a really good job evaluating that position to make sure we got the best person to lead our program at the quarterback position.
I asked Chip this, but how do you know when you have a starter?
Yeah, I think when they've grabbed the team, because they're going to make throws, they're going to make plays, but when they've got the team, like we knew it with JJ when he had the team, and when we've got that person there at the front, then we'll know we got our starting quarterback that'll help us, because the starting quarterback is not only the guy that's making the throws and touching the football first, but he's the guy that they're all looking to when adversity strikes. So he's got to do a really good job in those moments. So whether it's Bryce, whether it's Jaden, whether it's Mikey, whether it's Jake, whether it's whoever it is, like they've got to do a really good job in those moments in camps when we provide them a little chaos to be great.
We'll go on the two on the left, the blue and the gray sweatshirt.
Just hit on how we probably had to sit down and talk with Bryce, just the demands of potentially being a starter, and especially at a place like Michigan where it is a little bit different to be the quarterback. And how's he handled that? And how's his response been in the offseason?
Yeah, he's first of all, he's 17 years old, so he doesn't really know what he doesn't know yet. And I think there's expectations as a high school student athlete and in the light he's been in, but it's different at Michigan. It was the same when JJ was here, and to be the starting quarterback at Michigan, it's a lot. There's quote unquote pressure, but there's not pressure. His job is to just go be the best teammate, best football player he could be, whoever that person is. So it's going to take a village, and for us to be a successful program, be a successful football team, we got to do a great job surrounding that person with the weapons on the football field, but the weapons mentally to be successful.
Chris?
We talked about some of the gains in the weight room. Can you any specifics on some of the guys that you've seen that have really made that leap in the offseason?
Yeah, there's so many. People have hit on Bryce. He's gone from 215 to 230, and it's good weight. Good. Lowered the body fat percentage and gained lean muscle mass. Guy like Eno Etta, he's 320 right now. Came in at like 250. Andrew Sprague, guy that's changed his body. David Poly, a special shout out to him. He was the guy that was 370. He's down to 345 or 340, touching 338, and a lot of fat mass is gone. So there's so many examples throughout the program that have really done a really good job. So that's a special shout out to Justin Tress's staff and Abigail O'Connor on our nutrition staff and what they've done. It's incredible to watch it. So it's going to be fun to watch them. Big team, strong team, fast team, physical team, but we all got to put it all together on the field.
Do you think Justin's more comfortable in his role this year? He was kind of thrown into the fire last year. Have you seen him evolve?
Yeah, absolutely. I think he's taken full control of that team and full control of the locker room and the respect that he has with the players. on and off the field. You can see that permeate throughout the staff and throughout him. So he's definitely taking the reins to that crew.
Clayton.
Is nickel one of the more wide open spots on the team, considering a safety could play there, a corner could?
Yeah, I mean, that's a great question. That competition is going to be fun to watch because there's so many guys that can play it. Obviously, Zeke played it, but see Zeke as a corner that could play nickel if we need him to. There's so many dudes that can be in that position at different spots in different areas of the field in different situations that it's going to be a fun battle to have. So all the safeties are in it, and a lot of the corners are in it. So it's going to be cool to see, even working Jair Hill a little bit there. So to put different guys at different positions to be that nickel guy will be fun.
Did what Makari did at the end of last season kind of open your eyes to what maybe a bigger safety type could do there?
Yeah, I mean, we've done that before. We've had bigger safeties there, and not just Makari, but the year before we did that. We did a little bit with Makari the year before and other guys. So definitely an option for us and a guy we can put there. A guy like Mason Curtis to be another guy we can have there, and Brandon Hillman is a guy we can have there. TJ Metcalf, all those guys. So it's gonna be a competition that'll go throughout camp, and even guys will rotate in the season for.
Way left, Michael.
Sherrone, when it comes to you and Chip, where were you guys most similar philosophically, and where do you challenge each other to grow most philosophically in terms of maybe potential differences?
Yeah, I think where me and Chip were really similar is just, he wanted to do the best for what's best for our offense, what's best for our players. And even when I was calling offenses, it wasn't about I wanted to just, people say, oh, we just wanted to run the football. That's not really true. There's times we did, but I wanted to be balanced. Sometimes that balance got out of whack because either I got mad or we wanted to set a tone, and we did that. But it's really about balance. And people say we didn't throw the ball. J.J. McCarthy was quarterback of the year in the Big Ten, so voted by the coaches. So you can't say that we can't throw the ball when the quarterback of the year. So I really feel strongly that it's all about balance, and he wants that. He's been a guy that's had a 1,000-yard rusher, had a 3,000-yard passer. Fun stat about Chip, he was the offensive coordinator at Southern Miss. They had 2,000-yard rushers and a 40,000-yard passer. And I was at Louisville at that time and had a 1,000-yard rusher and 3,000-yard. So he understands football. He understands the game. Where we're different, I don't know. There's a lot of different things that we think about different plays differently. Not necessarily the total philosophy. Because Chip's not hey, I just want to be a up-tempo spread guy. He's a balanced guy and do whatever's best for your program and team. So we'll have those elements in the game and we'll be able to do things like that, but we've always had that. We just chose not to do it as much where we might not. So I think that all depends on the situation in the game.
Left there.
Sherrone, can you speak to your anticipation level for what's a historic game and taking Michigan to Oklahoma, and also what your view from afar as an alum is of their conference over the last couple of years?
Yeah, my anticipation for that game is that it's a big game, and it's going to be our first road test. And people might not want to hear it from the Oklahoma side, but I'm a Wolverine. I think about it like that. I'm a part of Michigan football. I've been here for 8 years, and I love this program. I love this place. So my allegiance is not to Oklahoma, regardless of going there. It's to Michigan. It's to football players at Michigan. So it's going to be a huge test because they're going to be a good football team, and Brett Venables is a great coach. But my thought process and allegiance has nothing to do with I went to school there. It has all to do with we want to go win the game, and we're going to do everything we can to be physically and mentally ready to do that.
What have you thought of just watching what they've been through over the last year or so?
Yeah, I mean, kind of removed from it. So just seeing the change in the conference, and they're in the SEC now, and they have to change because they're in the Big 12. So it's going to be necessary for them to be successful is to adapt to what they have to do in that conference. So, but really, that's my only feeling on that.
Up front, Chris.
Can you talk about the left tackle position? What will Blake Frazier have to do to be able to get into that competition?
Yeah, Blake Frazier's almost 100% healthy, so he's working in there, feeling really good. Be the best guy. Really, be consistent throughout throughout training camp and show that he could stay that healthy Blake Frazier talented guy who I think what I think we have. So it's going to be a fun competition. There's really 3 guys in there, Evan Link, Andrew Babalola, and Blake Frazier, that are all combating for that spot. And I could see a situation where you're playing 2 guys in the season, maybe all 3 at some point somewhere on the line. So I feel like he's got just as good a chance as those other guys, and he's put himself in position. He's another guy that's went from 250 pounds to 295 pounds, coming from high school. And I don't think he's gained any fat mass. I think it's been straight muscle mass. So he's going to put himself in a position to be successful.
And then at corner, do you like Zeke there? And beyond him and Jair, who's behind them?
Yeah, really like Zeke at corner. He obviously showed high upside throughout the end of the season, and feel like he's going to be in a good spot. The other guy that's really standing out is Shamari Earls, the freshman corner. He's 6'2", 200 pounds or 195, and super fast, super agile. Caleb Anderson, the transfer from Louisiana, like Lamar had a great job with him. Another tall, long guy, just kind of in the mold of the corners that we've brought in. The Josh Wallaces, the Amir Halls, those guys that have come in and had really good senior years, graduate season years, and Caleb kind of fits in that mold too. And then JoJo Evans is another guy that'll fit in that phrase. So feel like there's some young guys. I'm excited to see Jaden Sanders and Elijah Dotson, who's going to play safety and who's going to play nickel. Those are some young, talented guys that I feel like that can jump in the fray. But we'll see when we get to fall camp.
On the left, James.
I think general consensus seems to be that they paid Bryce much money, so he'll be the starter. Why don't you guys think of it that way?
Yeah. First of all, there's this random number that people throw out that they think Bryce got, which I don't know where they got it from, but good for them. So Bryce knows that the conversation I had with Bryce, I said, Bryce, you come here, I'm not giving you anything. You have to go earn it. And verbatim out of his mouth was like, I would want it no other way. His family had always been raised. They don't want to be given anything. Jay is adamant on making him work, and he's probably harder on him than anybody else. So he knows that it's got to be earned. And to be the starting quarterback at Michigan, I'm not going to give you anything. You got to go earn it. It's a historic tradition, and all the quarterbacks that have played before understand that the work is taken to get there. So he knows and understands that it's going to take work to get there, just like the other guys are.
Then Derek was talking earlier today. He said the Ohio State championship is not a real win because they didn't win the game. What would your perspective be on that?
I mean, try to clickbait the players. They won the national title. They were the best team at the end of the year, so I give them all the credit that they give. They were well deserving. They played really well, and they obviously won. They won it all. So kudos to them.
Front on the right here, Tony.
Sherrone, when you look back at last year, I guess how do you picture it big term? Do you see it sort of as the 3-0 finish that you had and all the momentum you take in, or does it have to be the full picture and that it was 8-5? And then when you think back to the years prior, how hell bent are you on getting back to sort of that standard?
Yeah, I'm hell bent on being undefeated every year. That's the standard. You don't want to lose any game. That's the goal to be a coach. You want to be undefeated every year. So for me, the standard is not 8-5, and the goal is to win every single game and to be successful and hoist the trophy again. Because once you win one, you get greedy. You want to win another, and that's the goal every year. But we know that it's going to take work. So can't be worried about the past. Can't be worried about tomorrow because it don't owe you anything. So all we're worried about is today, and then that's all we're going to do is work to be the best version of ourselves today.
Left there.
Derek was talking earlier about the Ohio State game last year and the scene that happened post-game. He said he had 2 perspectives on it. One of it's kind of the intensity of the rivalry, but he also felt like as a leader he could have done a better job. Did you guys talk with players, with leaders after that and address kind of everything that had happened post-game?
Oh yeah, we definitely addressed it. And there'll be no more flag planting. There'll be no more grabbing the flag. We talked about our new tradition and what we do when we win a game is go meet the band, go sing our victors, and stay over there until the other team departs. And that's how we'll operate. Shake hands after the game, show sportsmanship, be cordial. A lot of guys in college football know each other. All these guys they're kids. At the end of the day, they're 17 to 22-year-old kids, and most of them are friends. A lot of them talk before the game. So let them have that, and but then as a team, go be together as a team and then leave as a team.
Was there a conversation between administration or you with Coach Day about what had happened post game?
No, I think it was pretty well documented what happened, so there was an administration conversation of anything.
We're on the right here, Aaron.
Sherrone, on the top of the last year, when the season was over, you evaluated everything. How far, how close, or how far away did you feel like the program was from the top, the mountain you guys were so?
Yeah, I mean, you look at, obviously you win against the team that won it all, so you feel like you're pretty close. And the games you lost, you think there's moments where you can grab them, but I think in football in general, there's always the games where you think like, oh, there's one snap here, one play there. It doesn't matter, you lost. So our job is to make sure that we don't have those times anymore, so that we can make sure we don't have to have these conversations of, well, if we would have scored in the red zone, or if we would have had this stop, or if we would have got that pick. It doesn't matter. Football doesn't work like that. You either win or you lose. So our job as coaches to make sure it puts us in a situation to be successful and help the players to do that. So we're inching to that, and all we can do now is get to training camp and see how far we can get to it.
On the right here, Anthony.
Coach, last year against Ohio State, you were one of the few teams that stopped their passing attack, Jeremiah Smith. What's kind of your approach when you have an elite talent like a Jeremiah Smith on how to stop a guy like that?
Yeah, can't give away all the secrets because he's pretty good. But do everything you can to make sure the quarterback's uncomfortable. I mean, that was pretty apparent of the piece. But yeah, he's going to make plays because he's probably the best college football player that's out there. You know, so he's elite. So you got to do everything you can to put the game out of his hands. But it's going to be hard to do that. So you got to do everything you can just as a team to go win. You know, offensively, special teams, defensively, it's got to be a team event to win that game. So we'll get to that game when we get there. We think about that one enough. But it was an awesome performance by Coach Wink Martindale and our staff.
Chris?
Can you talk about your depth at linebacker and is it the most that you've had, do you think, since you've been at Michigan?
Yeah, I mean, probably eerie similar to 23 with those guys, Mike Barrett and Junior and Ernest and those guys. This group might be deeper because of, you know, Ernest, Jay Sean, absolute freak show, Cole Sullivan, who's going to take the college football world by storm, and Jimmy Rolder. You know, Jimmy Rolder played as good as anybody on our defense. Just needs to stay consistently healthy, and he's done that. So, and then you add a superstar freshman like Nate Owusu-Boateng and Chase Taylor. That's 6 guys that can play for you. So, really ready to see what happens in fall camp and how they take the reins on that.
When you talk about freak show with Jay Sean, just talk about how he's transformed his body, and then when he really got comfortable last year, how he kind of elevated his game.
Yeah, I mean, first, this is the size, 6'3", 250 pounds. Playing linebacker is really scary, but then he can play the edge. He can go inside and pass rush situations and rush the passer, or outside and rush the passer. So he's a guy that gives you a lot of versatility and what he can do and how he can manipulate a defense.
Right here, Michael.
What stood out about Donovan McCulley? How does he fit in the locker room? What do you really like about his skill set?
Yeah, first off, big, tall, strong, fast, explosive, big playability. He gives you what we kind of got with Nico, and you know, Nico, that 2020 year we thought was going to take off even more, and that's what he reminds you of. Now you got to put in the work to see what he's going to do, but in the spring he flashed more often than not, being a big play receiver. So we're excited to see what he does, and in the locker room he's been great. Yeah, he's asserted himself as a leader. He's an older guy, and he's really taking the reins of that receiver room to be a threat on our offense.
Spoken to you since we added Jake Garcia. Why did you feel the need to add him, or what was the plan?
Yeah, I mean, just another talented quarterback, talented arm in the room. You know, we wanted to have as many talented players as possible to push everybody. It wasn't because of injury. It wasn't because of thinking that somebody wasn't going to get back. It was all because we just wanted the talent. We wanted the depth in the room. Just like when you have in any room, when you have depth, when you have competition, you get better. So there was a connection, and we wanted to make sure we got another talented player in the room.
Alejandro?
Similar question, but you added a pair of running backs over the summer there as well. Why do you add them, and what do you see their role being?
Yeah, both guys that I think have played college football, that add depth to the room, that give us more bodies in the room, that definitely add special teams value to the room. So they'll challenge and push those guys that are the presumed, the Justice Haynes, the Jordan Marshalls, the Bryson Cuzziels. Will push those guys and make sure that they're on their stuff as we go out through the year.
Front, Tony.
I guess how exciting is it that after replacing the whole defensive staff last year, now everybody is back? Is that an underrated aspect, just how long it sort of took things to sort of mesh?
Not underrated, just excited about having everybody there. The continuity is awesome, just having everybody back. And Wink is having the time of his life, which is awesome to see when guys have fun, and he's mentioned to me that a couple of times of how much fun he has around our players and how much they inspire him. And for a guy that's done it for so long, to say that about college athletes and about college coaches is really cool. So it's just great to have all our staff back. Obviously adding Chip adds a cool element, even though we make fun of him for his accent a little bit sometimes, but he's phenomenal. He's a phenomenal addition. But there's such cohesion in the staff. Everybody gets along, everybody hangs out with each other, everybody sits together. You go to practice and Chip and Wink are talking to each other. That doesn't happen all the time. When that happens, it provides a special niche for the program.
Coach, one more about the one more about the defense. Obviously, Mason and KG are gone, maybe two of the studs, but it just feels like this defensive line is very deep. Does it kind of remind you of 23 in that way?
Yeah, 10 deep. I think you got 6 inside guys and 4 outside guys, which is crazy. And I was talking about the other day, it's like the 2 O-line is going to feel like they're dealing with the 1 defense. It's like, dude, you better buckle up when you go to practice because it's deep. You're going to be going against Derek Moore and Rayshon Benny and Trey Williams and Trey Pierce, TJ Guy, but then you got, they're not starting. Then the next week you got Cam Brandt, Dom Nichols, and Ike Wanya, and Enoetta, and Damon Payne. And all. It's crazy how many guys. And Cam Brandt, like this is a group that's going to be awesome to be a part of and deep and fun to watch. So super excited about how they've challenged each other too throughout the summer.
Clayton.
Kind of going off of that, how good do you think these 2 duos could be? Derek Moore and TJ Guy, and then Justice Haynes and Jordan Marshall.
As good as any in the country. I feel bad for the offense sometimes when they're going against Derek and TJ. It's just, but every year it's like you go against the Michigan edge rushers and you feel like every year there's a new guy that pops out, right? It was Josiah Stewart last year. Before that, you had Braden McGregor and Jalen Harrell. People forget about them. And you had Ajabo and Hutch. It's like every year it's gonna be TJ and Derek, but then you got Cam and Dom Nichols, and like it's gonna be fun to have that. So I'm glad they're on our team, and it's a fun duo. But it's gonna be hard to stop those guys, and with them, and then the running backs, Justice and Jordan, they're gonna be a great duo because Justice is a home run hitter, but so is Jordan. Jordan's that physical thunder that you need. So it's gonna be fun to watch those guys.
Over here, Angelique.
How hard is it preparing for the season, not knowing what the NCAA is going to do, what they're going to weigh in on?
Obviously can't talk about that, but not hard because you're just so excited about what's going on and the program and the team, and our players just don't get distracted by all that. Our coaches don't get distracted by all that because you can't worry about stuff you can't control. So all we're going to do is worry about what we can control and go play.
If there's some sort of suspension for you, do you have a plan in place?
Yep.
Can you share it?
We'll wait to see if that happens.
Go on the left there now.
Coach, how do you manage the fragile ego of a young quarterback coaching now?
Can you repeat that?
How do you manage the fragile ego of a young quarterback?
Yeah, it can't be fragile. When you're the quarterback at Michigan, that word can't exist for a quarterback position. You can't be a fragile guy. You can't be sensitive. You got to be able to be coached. You got to be able to be pushed hard. You got to be able to manage criticism because it's going to come. You throw one bad pass and people are going to yell at you or message you on Twitter, so you better turn off social media and don't worry about it and worry about the people that matter. So for us, it's, again, just creating a village for whoever that person is to make sure that they're successful. And like we did with JJ, like we've done with any quarterback that's been a part of it, make sure we love them and show them what really matters.
Left, James.
Tony Petiti, investigation 7. he thought that we need to find a way to do these things faster. What is your opinion on the speed of this thing?
Yeah, I'm not really comment on this, whatever that is. Rather just worry about our team and our players.
Left there.
Sherrone, you earlier when you were asked about Oklahoma, you said you're Wolverine. In this profession, how difficult is it when you played somewhere, coached other places, to then now you're here, full attention here, especially when you do have a game like you guys have this year?
Not very hard. I'm like I've said before, it's pretty documented how much I love Michigan. I'm fully invested in Michigan and what it's done for me, and what I continue to do for Michigan. So it's not hard for me to turn that page and understand that I'm all about Michigan.
As a young coach, was that something as you started to work your way up that you had to, as you moved places, had to kind of adjust to that? I'm here now, and this is my sole focus.
I mean, I think for me, I've always just lived by the motto, be where your feet are. So wherever I was going to try to do the best I could wherever I was. When I was at the University of Louisville, I was there for 5 years. That's what I did. When I was at Central Michigan, I was there for 4 years. That's what I did. And now this is year 8 at Michigan, and I plan on being here for as long as they'll have me, and being here for a long time. So my goal is not to try to think about where I've been or where I'm going to be. It's be right here, and that's it.
Chris?
Sherrone, Bryce obviously has some gifts with his legs too. Or would you be more apt to run him given his physical stature and his physical skills, given how important that could be to the run game?
I mean, I think whenever you have a quarterback, they've got to have the ability to do that. But if you run your quarterback, you better have two. So even JJ would ask me if he could run. I'd say no, you're not, because I don't want you to get hit. So it doesn't matter how big you are, the dudes that are going to hit you are bigger. So those are things that we'll make a decision on if he becomes a starting quarterback when those times come.
And then can you talk about the punting competition a little bit and what you expect there?
Yeah, I mean, I'm excited. I think Hudson right now is in pole position to take that because of what he did in the lead up. But got a couple guys that we brought in, but I'm just ready to see. Fall camp will tell a lot of who's going to take the spot and what it's going to look like. But just ready to see what happens in fall camp.
Right, Aaron.
Mikey Key, do you have enough time to win a certain job? Take a snap in spring. He wasn't active.
Yeah, I mean, when you play 2,029 snaps in college football, I think you can. I've seen guys, was just doing research on our players and our team. Rod Moore, as a true freshman, came in June and ended up being a starter for us on our team, on our defense. So if a guy like that can do it out of high school, he's played a lot of college football, he could definitely do it. So, but again, we'll see what happens as we go through camp.
Front left here.
Coach, last year you guys had to replace every single one of your starting offensive line, whereas this year you obviously returned starters. So
Yeah.
what would you say is the value, especially as a former O-line coach, in bringing returning offensive line?
It's huge. There's no substitute for experience on the football field, especially in the trenches. So to have guys that had started the whole year and have the confidence to do that. I mean, Evan Link went from right tackle to left tackle in the bowl game and played really, really good. Actually in the bowl game and the Ohio State game at that position. So people forget he was a redshirt freshman. And Gio Hadi was probably a guy that played the most snaps. Greg Crippen had really never played. He'd been behind an Outland and Remington winner and a first team All Big Ten player. So to have guys that have played football, that have played in games, and then bring in transfers that have experience like Lawrence Tatar and Brady Norton, those guys will just help push the group along with the talented freshmen that we have. So stoked for it. Stoked to see where we're at, and I think we're going to be in a good position because of it.
Alejandro?
What did Andrew Sprague do last season to earn that starting role in the Rely Plus Bowl, and where have you seen him grow the most?
Yeah, just uber talented. He's got all the ability, and had a little injury in training camp. I was possibly could have been fighting for that spot, earlier in the season. But really throughout the season had definitely just showed his ability and done everything he could to be the starter when we got to the season and to be for the bowl game, and knew when Miles wasn't playing in the bowl game that moving Evan and then putting Andrew there at right tackle was the best 5 combination, and ended up being a great decision. So again, that competition at right tackle is still heavy. Right now he's in pole position to be the starter because of the game that he played against Alabama and what he did, there's guys behind him pushing. You know, Ty Haywood, a true freshman that came in, 6'6", 320-something pounds, fleet, light feet, ability to go push him at that position. So we've got a lot of guys in different positions to push everybody to make sure that nobody feels comfortable. And I think that's what makes you a really good offensive line, and that's what made us good in 21, 22, and 23. There's always somebody behind pushing. And if we can do that, continue to do that, and recruit that way, and bring in the type of guys to do that, then we'll be super successful offensive line.
Tony?
Max, just a little bit earlier, said that there's no offense that wants to rewrite its script as much as this one, I guess. Do you feel that as well? Do you sense that? And how excited are you to add some explosion to this team?
I mean, I second it. You know, you want to be able to be balanced, and when you feel one-dimensional, that's not a way to operate anyway. And for us to be as successful as we were in the end of the year, one, it's kudos to our run game, but two, kudos to our defense and how we played football, complementary football, and really kudos to our coaching staff to be able to do that and play complementary football, including our special teams, J.B. Brown, as special teams coordinator, and be able to manipulate field position, do different things like that. So it's all part of the plan, and I think we'll be explosive. That's the plan. So we'll see as we get through camp and see what happens, but feel good about the direction we are and where we're going for the offense.
Angelique? Sherrone, who did Juan TCU and Eric in Wolverine?
Yeah, both a wealth of knowledge, obviously. Juan, for the offensive line, has been awesome for Grant, but Grant's really taken the reins and the leadership of that room, and it's been cool to watch him. Well documented as he's been right under me as I've gone through my progression here in Michigan. I was the O-line tight end coach. He was the student assistant. O-line coach, he was a GA. Coordinator was the tight end coach. Head coach is the O-line coach, and probably one of the smartest human beings I've ever been around. Him and Andrew Babalola are 1 and 2. They're the smartest people I've ever been around and had a conversation with. And if they're in a room together, I walk out because I know I won't have the answer for questions that they ask. So those, Juan has helped Grant tremendously from a scheme, but from a fundamental standpoint. And then Sue Campbell, to say the least, he coached Bellamy. He played there at Michigan, so he provides so much experience for Ron, but also gives another voice for the receivers that you can split it, and you got Ron over here, but then you got Super over there, so you're never worried about the receivers. So it's been outstanding to have both those guys back with us.
And Rob Moore says he's 85%. You think that he's got time now for camp to get to 100?
Yeah, I know. I'm not a doctor, so I'm not going to predict it. So we'll see where he goes, but I know he's been running full speed. I know he's been cutting, and those are good signs to me.
James?
Mason Graham said during rookie minicamp that switching from your guys' scheme to Jim Schwartz's scheme could be like taking the cups off for him. So I'm thinking if what we saw with you guys is the cups on, what will it look like when the cups are on?
Scary. Yeah, I know they're more of a penetrating style defense, so it's just different for him. And I know he had some adjustments he had to make when he first got there, and it's going to be fun to watch him. It's going to be fun. I'm excited for him and his future and what he's going to do, and especially he's got a pretty good running mate there on the edge with him, so I think that's going to help him, his adjustment in the NFL. So, he's a stupendous player, great kid, so it's going to be fun to watch him.
In front there?
Looking back on it now, with this, what is it about this program and maybe its approach to the rivalry that allows you to still defeat Ohio State, even though you maybe hadn't had the season you wanted to up until then?
I think just the players and the coaches, the trust in each other, and really we talked about that when we prepared for the game. It's not about belief. People's like, oh, you got to believe. No, we're not believing. We trust each other. We trust our process. We trust what we're going to do, and trust who we have next to us, and embody what Michigan's all about. And that game's bigger than anything. It's what we work for 365. So we take a lot of pride in it. We always will, and to us it means a lot.
Chris?
Gio was blunt in saying he didn't play the way he wanted to play last year. Why do you think that was, and what did you see from him in the spring, and your thoughts on how you think he'll perform this year?
I just think he has a high standard for himself. He wants to be one of the best linemen in the country, and he knows he has the talent to do that, and he knows he's, since he was a freshman, I've told him that he's all the ability in the world to be an All-American. So that's his standard, and if he doesn't reach that, then he feels like he slighted it. So it's very mature for him to say that, and excited to watch what he does when he progresses as he has, even more so as a leader. And he's really taking the reins of the offensive line and to watch them grow, because I think the big piece of an offensive line being good is being together all the time. And they've really taken those reins to do that this summer, and they've grown together. And when you do that, then you have a really tight-knit group, because you got to look through the eyes of one lens when you're playing with 5 guys, and they've really done that.
See him make some progress this spring?
Yeah, absolutely. He's done that. He's had his best spring so far since I've been here, and looked like a dominant guard in the Big Ten. So just got to carry it over to fall camp.
Right, Aaron?
You mentioned a couple of true freshmen that can start the offensive line. How do you weigh whether they're ready or not? That's something you guys do.
Yeah, you'll know. You'll know when they're ready. When they stop getting bull rushed into the quarterback a couple times, and Derek Moore and TJ Guy stop bull rushing, and it's hard for them to get to the passer, or they start moving them. You'll know. But it's going to be a process to see, because playing O-line at Michigan's hard. Playing O-line as a true freshman is really hard. So to see if they can do that, then kudos to them and kudos to us. But it's going to be fun to watch the development of those guys as they progress, because it's a talented group of guys. All 4 of those freshmen, Andrew Babalola, Ty Haywood, Avery Gash, and Cage Trehorn, are all competitors and are all talented players. But not only is that, it's the mental piece too that they got to really hone in on.
You mentioned that Babalola a bunch. Why are you convinced?
Could, talent, ability, but the intelligence factor of knowing the scheme and knowing the playbook and doesn't make a lot of mistakes in what he does, that's a huge piece to it too. So when you have that at that position, it's pretty special. There's very few guys that can do it, but he can. But it's not a given. Evan Link has been there, and he had a heck of a spring and a really, really good summer. So we'll see what happens.
Angelique? I thought you said the question was someone else? Scratch Angelique, she's done on the left there.
You sure, Angelique?
Sherrone, you mentioned being more explosive this year. How do you see that happening? Obviously, you guys had some struggles last year. Is it just players being more? You got an addition to how do you foresee that being more explosive this year?
Yeah, I think consistency. The consistency that we had in spring, the strength and speed that we developed in the off season, but really the consistency that I saw in the spring allows me to think that we have that ability. So if we can continue to do that in camp, then that'll come to fruition in fall camp in the fall.
Zach?
Yeah, who's in the mix at right guard, and how will you balance an inside guy like a Phobie versus maybe a tackle who could be a part of your best 5?
Yeah, I mean, a Phobie, Brady Norton's another guy, Lawrence Attar is another guy, even Jake Unera. He's playing center, but he's also playing guard. I've always been a proponent of whoever the best 5 are, that's who we're going to play. We'll figure out where they are, but find the best 5 guys. So I feel even better this year that we have at least 10 guys competing for those 5 spots, where as I think it was maybe 6 or 7 the year before, where I feel like there's 10 guys competing, so no one can relax. And when you have that, then you feel like you got good competition and you can get better every single day.
Guys like Evan or Blake move to right guard, or they focused on them at tackle?
No, Phobie will stay at guard. Evan probably play tackle, but he could play guard too. Blake's a tackle, but he could play guard. So it's just going to be who those 5 guys are, because then you got Gio and you got Crip. So good problems to have. And you got Andrew Sprague, and you got Ty Haywood, and you got Avery Gash. So it's like Avery Gash ain't out the mix. So we got a lot of guys that we think that can definitely challenge at those spots.
Hogan Hansen was out in the spring game. When will he be back, and what do you make of the tight end rooms? That's your former room.
Yeah, I think he's going to be a really good player for us. I think Marlon has taken really huge steps. Obviously, Bredesen's a little bit different breed, but he's still a tight end. We'll see on how Hogan progresses through fall camp and what he does, and we'll keep working on that piece. But excited about the room. Another guy that's really stepped up is Zach Marshall. He's had a really good offseason, and a guy that keeps showing up and might have as fluid as ball skills as any of them is Deacon Tonelli. He's really taking the next steps of a guy that in his 3rd year and ready to take that next step to be a player. So want to see him take the reins and be the player that he should be, but we're getting there with him. So I think the room's gonna be really good.
Hoffman too.
Yeah, Jalen too. Obviously had a big spring game. and he's kind of in the Max Bredesen role, but just probably a little bit more size and a little bit more athletic. And Max can tell you that, just not the blocker that Max is. So he's a guy that's helped us, and he's going to help us this year.
Chris?
What are your hopes for Kendrick Bell? Where is he in his coming back from injury? And are people kind of sleeping on him a little?
Yeah, Kendrick is healthy. He's ready to go. He'll be in fall camp, full go. He's been back. He's been doing OTAs, and he looks great. Put on some great lean mass. I think above 200 pounds. Looks big, strong, and thick. But also still has that explosiveness and twitch that we want to see. And so he's going to push Donovan. He's going to be another X that's a big body that can play on the outside lane. So been fun to watch his recovery and see how he's done. And he's attacked at full speed ahead. So he's going to be in a great place to challenge him too.
And you hear fans talk about scheming receivers open. Is that overblown? And is that something that Chip brings to the table in terms of, maybe getting the guys to go?
Yeah, I mean, I think there's two parts to it, right? Like, yeah, you can scheme people open, but you also got to get open. Man coverage, you can run as many mesh routes as if you want, but if they're attaching onto you and you can't get open, then it doesn't matter. So there's things that we definitely can do and will do to scheme guys open, but there's also part of it, you got to get open too. Sometimes you got to make the right reads in zone coverage. You got to make the right reads in man coverage. So it's twofold, and at the end of the day, we got to be a team to be successful and make sure we make those things happen.
Got time for a few more because we got 3 minutes left.
3 minutes, let's go.
As a coach, you guys finished the season 3-0 with some pretty impressive wins. What did you learn about maybe what resonated with the players or what worked in that streak that you can apply to year 2 for you?
I mean, just the instilled confidence that they have and the confidence that they got in those games. It wasn't a magic potion or something that we did, and it wasn't the way we changed practice because we practiced the same. But the energy, the focus, the level of confidence that they had in those games was definitely different than the others. And we'll just continue to apply it like that and just work. And the leaders on the team saw it, the leaders on the team see it, and continue to let our leaders be leaders and empower them as much as possible to make sure we continue that.
Is that why you think the energy was up?
You know what? I think the energy was up because you find out who you are in adverse situations, right? And when you're 15-0 and you win a national championship, everybody's happy all the time. Everybody's dancing, everybody's slapping each other. But when you are 6-5 or 5-5, like you really figure out who you are. And we found out who we were. Found out we got a great culture, we got great kids, we got great coaches that love each other, that take care of each other. And that's when you find out who you really are, not when you're 15-0. And it's fun to be 15-0, don't get me wrong. I want to be that again. 17-0, 15-0, whatever it is, but you find out the build and the makeup of your culture and the people who are around you when you're in adversity, and we found out who we were.
Chris?
Floyd used to sit up there for 2 hours, by the way.
Yeah, I know.
RB3, how you feeling about the running back position?
I mean, great. It's going to be a great competition. Obviously, Bryson Cudsdale is a guy that really, took on the reins in the spring. Micah Capana is another guy. But I wouldn't put out Jasper Parker, this freshman from Louisiana, man. He's built like Hassan Haskins, big, strong, physical, but he's a freshman. So we'll see what happens. And the other 2 guys, CJ and John and Donovan. So we'll see what those guys do and how they are and where they are in camp. So all that'll happen. So the best thing about that room is Jordan and Justice. They're 1 and 2 right now, but they better not fall off the cap because they've got guys pushing them, and that's what makes rooms great when you do that.
Who's 1 and who's 2?
They're 1A, 1B right now. Yeah.
Oh, you want to go? Oh, now you want to?
Sure?
Yeah, now I'm.
All right.
You just mentioned,
Last question, Angelique.
you
After
just mentioned
Chris.
he's a freshman. Is that different from like 15 years ago when a freshman? You never really saw those guys get on the field. Are they that different now? Freshmen
Yeah, I
ready to
mean,
come in?
maybe it's what they eat or what their parents or I think it's the God-given genes that their parents have given them, whatever it is, whatever they do. I would like that. I have 3 daughters, so I would like to all have scholarships somewhere and play somewhere. But those student athletes that we have now as freshmen, it's crazy to see how fast, how big, how strong they are. And even you look across the country of all these true freshmen that are playing or making impact in college football, it's just different now. And even in high school, There's kids reclassing to become freshmen earlier. You've never seen it before. So it's different. It's a different age, but you got to adjust. You got to adapt and have plans in place to play them if they're ready, or get them to play if they're not ready. So.
All right, thanks everyone.
Awesome.
Chris, I appreciate
Thank
the
you.
2 questions.